Hello and welcome to the Welcome, Whack'em, Whack-a-mole. Fuck.
Hey guys, this is your warning. We do post up spoilers. At times we're relatively offensive. We use vulgar language. So if you think that any of those are gonna offend you in any way, shape, or form, take your step back right now. Cause buddy, this is not the place for you. Anywho, have fun listening to us. And yeah, this has been your final warning.
Hello and welcome to the podcasting equivalent of anxiety, insomnia, and ADHD all wrapped up in a little ball in the corner screaming its fucking eyes out. This is Cinematic Anarchy. I am Chris.
And I am Piper.
And today we're going to be discussing a film that we probably watched way too many times in the past few weeks because fuck, it's free on Peacock, and I actually went out and paid to see it in the fucking theaters, even though it was free in my own living room. I went out and paid for this.
Yeah, I watched it in my bedroom.
Yeah, see, that's the way you should have done it. That's the way I should have done it. But you know, my kid, Spencer, who honestly I wanted to have join us today, really wanted to see it in the theaters with a bunch of his friends because he was obsessed with the games. He played the games frequently. I watched him play. I watched so many videos on the subject, and you know what? I remember nothing. Nothing. All those videos that he showed me, I remember absolutely jack shit. And that's why I wanted him on the podcast today, to fill in a little bit of the lore that I am obviously missing. Because I enjoyed this. And he's like, well, that's missing. And that's not there. And that's definitely not there. And I don't know why that was missing. And they definitely screwed that up. And I'm sitting here like, this is a perfectly good movie. Oh, yeah, by the way, we are talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, because I didn't say anything.
Good old FNAF.
FNAF. Five Nights at Freddy's. Starring Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lail, Piper Rubio, Matthew Lillard, and Mary Stuart Masterson, and several more, but I don't feel like going through all the rest of them.
Oh, come on. Go through the whole IMDb credit screen.
I don't want to. There's too many.
Is it too many?
Mind you, my cutoff for too many is 5. Too many. 5. There's more than 5 people in this movie. I don't want to talk about anybody else. It's too much.
We'll get to them later.
It's too fucking much to remember. I don't have to remember it. It's right here in front of me. I've got the IMDb page up. I could do IMDb. No, IMDb page up. Yeah, no, see, I'm tripping over my tongue. I did that a couple times before we even started.
I know.
Yeah.
It was great.
Whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. But that being said, we are talking about Five Nights at Freddy's today, which is basically... and I'm going to just give a quick synopsis, and it's a half-assed synopsis at best because I didn't write fucking shit down. So Josh Hutcherson stars as Mike, who is taking care of his sister, who has some issues. He also has some major issues. Well, his sister does have some issues. Okay, I don't agree with the mother, or not the mother, was the aunt? Aunt Jane, played by Mary Stuart Masterson. But Abby definitely has some issues, which I think stem from the fact that they both lost their parents. So this is his sister.
She also seems like she might be like high-functioning autistic.
It's entirely possible, but it is established that she speaks through pictures more than anything else. She does talk, but she communicates better through pictures than she does anything else. And obviously, she is a medium of sorts because she can talk and play with the dead.
I know, she's psychotic. I meant psychic.
Psychotic? Psychic, yeah, uh-huh.
Psychotic.
Psychotic. Well, I mean... I would say a little naive to what's going on around her because she plays with the psychotic. But see, I didn't even get into the synopsis. It's basically Josh, who is taking care of his sister Abby, and he is a royal fuck-up through and through and through. Basically tackles some guy into a fountain during his last security job, ends up landing this security job, taking care of Freddy's. Freddy Fazbear's. Yes, the animatronics. And this is basically where the entire movie begins. And if anybody knows about Five Nights at Freddy's, first of all, spoiler warning, because, you know, yeah, we do that at the beginning of every podcast. I still have to get you to record yours.
I'll do that as soon as you give me the lines.
You
I have an actress.
What did
Give
I say?
me my line.
What did I say to you? I gave you the gift that most actresses and actors wish for.
Improv?
Ad-lib. Improv. Do what you feel. Say what you need to. Send me a couple of different ones. I am good. Just record a couple. You know, I've recorded several that were just sort of on the fly and they were episode specific. Like the last one we did, the last one we put out, or 2 episodes ago, I think, at this point, was episode specific. You know, and trying to explain the disappearance of the main co-hosts of this podcast, that Nico's been around since year 1 and she's disappeared. And oh, by the way, congratulations to our friend, Miss Honeybee, who will be opening up her own tattoo shop. Or I should say her mentor is opening up a tattoo shop and giving her the first chair.
Yes.
So congratulations
to her.
And congratulations to Viking for what, I don't know. He's disappeared, lost his voice. We miss him. Come back, Viking. Come back. I'm not begging at all. Come on.
I hate to see what you're like when you are begging.
You've been on a couple of podcasts, and you know when we have 3 or 4 people on to banter together, that's always when it falls together. Or, like that one podcast that you did with me, and the...
That podcast?
Podcast? Yeah, sorry. That one podcast that you did with me with God, what is the name of that podcast?
The Strange and Beautiful Book Club podcast.
Yeah, right. So we had like 4 people on that podcast, and everything recorded well. We had enough people to do a lot of back and forth, so I kind of like that format. We're working on bringing other people in, doing interviews, and I know that our good friends over at Clock Out Films were interested in doing a film with us, so at some point in the very near future, hopefully before the holidays hit the fan, we will get to do a film with them called Spookies, which is one of their films. They picked that. So that's what they want us to watch so they can record with us.
If I can find it.
Well, I'm sure we can find a way for you to watch Spookies. Even if I watch it on Blu-ray and then mail the Blu-ray to you so you can watch it. We'll figure it out. You laugh, but I'll send it to you. I will. As long as you send it back. You got to mail it back to me.
I promise you I won't keep your stuff.
Right. Well, it's a collector's item. It is.
I won't keep your stuff.
Okay, it's not a collector's item. It is a boutique Blu-ray. It's one of those fun fucking sites that I love to go to, like Arrow Films. This one's from Vinegar Syndrome. Oh, the Vinegar Syndrome, by the way, just to give you a little fun backstory with Vinegar Syndrome. So, my wife and my daughter have actually purchased a couple of Vinegar Syndrome Blu-rays for me in the past for Christmas, and they've sent it to me, or they bought them at the store, and they brought it to me. But for some reason, my wife never remembered the logo for Vinegar Syndrome, which is essentially, it's this, it's a silhouette. It's a silhouette of basically a girl, a stripper of some sort, with one yellow leg. And it's Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, with one yellow leg. It's just a silhouette. And she's like, what the hell is that? I go, yes, I've got porn on the back of my laptop. I put the sticker on the back of my laptop over the Dell, is it Dell portion? So I was just like, I've got strippers on my laptop. I'm just inviting them in. I've put out the stripper signal, like the bat signal, but...
It's the way you said it, like the stripper with one leg, one yellow leg.
Stripper with
It reminds me of Planet Terror when Quentin Tarantino was talking to Rose McGowan. It's like, I ain't never seen me a one-legged stripper.
It's like the lamp from A Christmas Story found the rest of its body. That's where my head went anyway. So, we are supposed to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Nights at Freddy's, which is, honestly, like I said, my brain is outside of the lore. So, I've been shown too many videos by my kid, and my brain is outside of the whole lore of the thing.
Like, my problem is I don't know all the lore. Like, I played the first game, and in the very first level, which is supposed to be the easiest, fucking Bonnie scared the shit out of me so much that my fiance heard me scream over his headphones that have noise canceling, so he shouldn't have been able to hear me. My roommates in another room heard me. My roommate all the way in a back room heard me scream.
Okay, they're noise canceling headphones, not shrill, frightened screams headphones. There's no such thing.
Bonnie scared the shit out of me, and it was just instant, like, nope.
Are you okay? Yeah, need to clean up. Aisle 7. Anyway.
I'm gonna go shower real quick. Don't come near my computer chair.
So, having watched Willy's Wonderland well before this film ever came out. I already had high expectations of this film because Willy's Wonderland is a knockoff of the lore of this film.
Yep.
You know, they turn a few things around, make it more like a video game than this film does, but
this one goes more for it's an actual movie, not a video game.
I can really appreciate Josh Hutcherson's take on the frail, weak security guard.
I mean,
he's broken. He's
a great actor. He's an amazing actor. And one thing I can give credit to this film is, like, in the very beginning when we first see him wake up and he's like rewinding his little tape thing, and we see that poster of Nebraska on his ceiling, and it's like it's kind of a close up on these clues, but we don't know what these clues even mean at this moment. So it's like you don't find out until a little later in the film, which, kind of gives a good, like, I want to stay here and see what is the significance of these two things.
One of these things do not belong. No. I don't even remember the rest of that song either. I know that's like an old Sesame Street thing. Kind of like Grover with near, far,
Was it Yoda?
No, Grover sounded a lot like Yoda, you have to admit. Without the speech impediment, he sounded a lot like Yoga. Yoga?
I did not. He
Yoda.
Sounded like Yoga?
He sounded like Yoga.
He sounded like Yoga. Very calm, very bendy.
Bend in weird positions, you must. Anyway.
I did not watch Sesame Street. I did not like it.
No? You did not?
No. The only thing that was amusing about Sesame Street was the count. And that was because of his accent, not that he could count.
One fucked up situation. Blah, ha, ha.
He is one character who does not count, but I assure you he does.
I mean, in the scheme of things, the count doesn't count unless he counts.
That is true.
Outside of that.
Counts.
Without the counting, the count doesn't exist.
Wow.
So, technically, the count only counts when he's counting, because outside of that, without the counting, the count doesn't exist.
Without that, the count doesn't count.
Exactly. So if the count doesn't count, then the count doesn't count.
Anyway, back to FNAF.
FNAF, yes. All right, back to FNAF. This film, I haven't seen Mary Stuart Masterson in a little while. That may just be because I don't follow her films. I know she is still an active actress, but outside of like early 90s movies, most of the 80s, I didn't really watch a lot of her stuff.
What else was she in?
What else is she? Okay.
I know I've seen her. Like, it's one of the things. Connecting the name and the face for her just didn't register for me. It's like I know I've seen her in plenty. I just don't remember.
Off the top of my head, only two films actually really stick. And it's because I've watched them way too many times. Bed of Roses, where she starred across from Christian Slater. Probably one of the few films that he did before, like, almost completely disappearing for a while. Because he was in, like, a romantic comedy phase for some fucking reason. Like, everybody was like, oh my god, Christian Slater, he has to be in the romantic stuff. No. I mean, he did all right in Untamed Heart. Bed of Roses, I could have done without altogether.
Yeah, but
we're not talking about Christian Slater, are we? No.
No, we're talking about Mary Stuart Masterson.
Mary Stuart Masterson. And then, of course, the 1980s film, Some Kind of Wonderful. Come on.
I have not seen either one of those.
You haven't seen... Well, that's why you don't know what the fuck she's been in.
I've seen her face.
Well, her face. Her face is very memorable.
Yes,
but
and in this movie, it's very punchable.
Very... Well, I mean, I think that's the character. You want to punch the character. Benny and June. Have you seen Benny and June?
No.
You've not... You nodded your head and they went, yeah, no. No, not at all.
But nobody else can see me nod my head.
Okay, Fried Green Tomatoes. Have you seen the original Fried Green Tomatoes?
Yes.
Okay, well, she was in that.
Did she play Itchy?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, Queen.
Itchy. You said Itchy.
I mean,
I was like, wait a minute. She was also She was also in a really, really good Western, which, I mean, I guess really good by certain people's standards, starring alongside of Andie MacDowell, Madeline Stowe, and Drew Barrymore in a film called Bad Girls.
I saw that too.
You did?
I didn't.
You didn't? Was that
I did.
Nodding yes, but you didn't at all? Okay, that was a yes, you did. Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
But to her credit.
To her credit.
She was a character you were supposed to hate, and she did make me hate her. Great acting.
She was Aunt Karen for the most part. Aunt Karen.
It's one of those things like there are plenty of actresses who play like the bad people. Like, and a good example would be the woman who played Aunt Petunia in the Harry Potter films.
Right.
And a lot of kids and people actually hated her as if she was really doing this stuff and not just acting. And it's like she actually disappeared from a lot of the world for a bit there just to give some time between that. But it's like when you see her well and you're supposed to hate the character and you actually love to hate the character because it's such good acting.
Right.
Like, then you've done your job. That's great.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So people that hate specific actors because of the way that they portrayed a specific character in a film, I don't like that actor. Why? Because in this film, he was a complete dick. And in this film, he was a complete dick. And I'm sitting here like, okay, but did he play a dick to the point where you're sitting here going, that is the fucking biggest dick that I've ever seen? And I feel like I've gotten off track here for a second. Wait a minute.
That is the biggest dick I've ever seen. Ooh.
Yeah. I feel like I was on the right track, but I was using the wrong words. Like, he was like, okay, this guy was a complete asshole in this film. And you felt that disgust for that character so viscerally that now you associate that disgust with the actor themselves. Well, guess what? The actor did a fucking fantastic job portraying that person because you're disgusted now with them. So they affected you so much as this piece of shit in the movie that now you're like, oh my God, I don't like this actor because they were such a piece of shit in that movie. They played a character, man. They did their job.
Yeah. Hell, when you if you look at directors, most of the time they say to get somebody to play a bitchy or dickish character, you actually have to find some of the nicest people because you need to make sure that they're not going to be that way after they say cut.
No, I've heard that to play an absolute piece of shit in the movies, what they have to do, they go robot chicken on you. They strap you to a chair, or you can go Clockwork Orange, whichever way you want to go with it. They strap you to a chair, and they take those mechanical apparatuses and make it so you can't close your eyes, and they play nothing but 24/7 TikTok Karen videos for 5 days straight, and you're just sitting there watching asshole after asshole after asshole after asshole bitch and complain about the most mundane things and affecting other people by being dicks, and now you can be a dick yourself. Now, it's the deprogramming of such assholishness that is a real problem.
So I guess if you're going to play a psychotic character or a crazy character, they just sit you in a chair and have you listen to the Tiki Room song or It's a Small World over and over and over.
I hear all it takes is 20 minutes of Carrot Top's stand-up routine.
I heard it takes less.
Right? Well, 20 minutes. I mean, you want to be deeply psychotic if you're going to play a psycho role. Again, the deprogramming is a little harder to do. But 20 minutes of the stand-up from Carrot Top, I mean, that'll turn most people murderous.
I mean, that's if it doesn't turn their stomachs first.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Have you ever seen Carrot Top?
Yes, hence why my stomach would be turned.
There is a big difference between the original Carrot Top, the guy when he started doing prop comedy, and whatever plastic surgery, steroid-induced nightmare this redhead with a wig is now. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, what did he wake up one morning, see that woman who, like, plastic surgery'd herself to look like a fucking Catwoman, and then said, you know what? That's what my routine needs right there. I need to Botox and plastic surgery my face into permanent surprise at the fact that I look this jacked.
Maybe he saw the person who was like the lead singer for the people who did the Like a Record, Paul something.
I'm going to say this right now though. No stringy, goofy redhead should ever jack themselves up on steroids like that. None. It's not a good look.
Very fair.
It's not a good. The only person that I think that has been able to pull off the pasty white redhead look, and this is not jacked. He's not like ultra ripped, but Sheamus from WWE. He has got skin like somebody poured milk into a Sheamus mold. Okay, but it looks good on him. He makes it look good.
It does.
Carrot Top makes it look scary. Okay, why they have not made a movie with Carrot Top as the main slasher villain, I don't know yet. Because I don't know about you, but if that popped out from a dark alley, or from behind a curtain, or at my front door just knocking, trying to deliver a fucking pizza, I would run screaming the other fucking way.
He doesn't even have to pop up in those places. He could have been in a well-lit mall with everybody around.
I've got your pizza, and for a tip, I'm going to give you some prop comedy. No, bye.
A knife!
No. I'm going to put my props in your shoulder. You know, Carrot Top, please, no. Carrot Top. I'm waiting. One of these days, Carrot Top's going to snap, and we're going to see all sorts of reports, and we're going to be like, yeah, that seems about right.
Gosh, all the reports you ever hear about, like, a serial killer or anything, it's like, well, he was a really quiet person, always nice in the neighborhood, never did anything to anybody.
He was always such a nice, good boy.
Nice, so he wouldn't be on the fucking radar.
Do you think that they said that about Matthew Lillard's character, William Afton, in this movie?
He was such a good boy.
I don't know, but I mean, Matthew Lillard is just so unsung for I don't know why. He's so amazing. There's not been something that he's been in that I did not like his acting.
He channeled that Scream Stu energy for the end of this film. But
yes, he did.
My favorite part of Matthew Lillard in this film, like, I could give or take Josh Hutcherson. I do like him, but without Matthew Lillard, this film wouldn't have worked. Really.
I agree.
And my favorite part is the initial introduction that he gives to the security guard position, where he's talking over the phone. And his voice is very animated while he is presenting these instructions, but his face is completely devoid and soulless of all emotion. It's just gone.
But you know why, right? You know why his voice is like that, right?
Why?
Because that's how the voice sounds in the video games when it's giving you the instruction.
I know, I understand that, but the choice that he made in that movie to deliver the lines over the phone with absolutely no expression on his face whatsoever, just completely deadpan face, but expression in his voice. That made it fucking creepy as hell.
Let's not forget the things he can do with his voice. Shaggy.
I mean, yes, of course. Nobody can forget Shaggy. Matthew Lillard's fucking amazing. Like, he should be doing more, not less.
I agree. The funny thing is, we say that this movie basically couldn't be this movie without him. And the simple fact is, he's probably shown the least amount of time in this movie.
Favorite Matthew Lillard role?
Favorite Matthew Lillard role?
Favorite role with him in it. I've got two.
I'd have to say Scream.
Scream, of course. Scream's a favorite for a lot of people. Stu!
And then probably this one. I do love Scooby-Doo, but I liked both movies, don't get me wrong. But I have to go with this one just because of his delivery of everything.
Okay. Outside of what you just said, I have two favorites. So that didn't have to do with anything that you just mentioned. SLC Punk is a great role for him if you ever get to see it.
I need to see this.
Oh, yes you do. You definitely do. And, still in his younger days, Hackers.
I've not seen... Doesn't it also have Angelina Jolie?
Yes, Angelina Jolie, was it named Johnny Lee Miller? And
I need to see
Matthew
this,
Lillard.
I do love me some Angelina Jolie and I love some Matthew Lillard.
Okay, he is absolutely fantastic in that movie. When he was in his, like, punk phase, kind of like the awkward punk phase that he was doing, SLC Punk, Hackers, stuff like that. Honestly, he was fantastic. I've loved him in almost every role that I have seen him in. He was even great in 13 Ghosts. He was great in that movie.
Okay. Oh, I love that movie.
See, I brought it up, and now you're like, do I need to replace the Scream thing?
I do need to replace the Scream thing because I loved him in 13 Ghosts more.
We should do 13 Ghosts. We should sit down and talk about that movie.
I totally would. And I'd also, if we do that, like, I kind of want to watch the original, the black and white.
Yeah. Oh, right. So we can compare and contrast the both. Watch the original, watch the newer one. I mean, who doesn't love Tony Shalhoub?
Don't even know who that is. When gets he's the main actor in the original.
Monk?
Never saw it.
You've never seen Monk? Okay, Tony Shalhoub. Oh, okay. I suppose if you haven't seen Monk, you haven't seen Wings. Those are like his two biggest roles, Wings and Monk. Outside of that, most people don't know who the fuck he is. But he was like the father. He was the father in 13 Ghosts, the new one.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wow. So I need to go. And he was in the original, in the black and white?
No, he was not in the original.
Oh.
It's not that old. Wow.
It's the way you. He
was in the original black and white film as like a baby, as a child. You know, he was a young actor back then.
Who did his work?
Wow, that is fantastic CGI for a 1940s, 50s film.
Like, whoever did his work definitely didn't do Carrot Tops.
I don't think the original 13 Ghosts was in the 1930s or 40s. I'm just saying. It's black and white. I just think old. This is so old, it's not even black and white. It's sepia, and it's basically a flip book. There's no audio.
In fairness, a lot of things were still done in black and white, even up through the 60s and stuff, because color was too expensive still.
You'd have to watch 13 Ghosts on a Nickelodeon. Do you know what a Nickelodeon is? No?
TV, like a kid's TV network?
No. What Nickelodeon, okay. Have you ever
I
been
up
right up the way from where I am? They have Canopy Lake, which is sort of an old-fashioned park, theme park. So Nickelodeon, basically, they had them over there up until I was a kid, like a teenager. I don't think they were there now, but they were basically these old machines that would present you basically a flip book movie, a silent movie. You put a nickel into this machine, and then you put your eyes up against it. It's a pair of goggles. You look inside, and it does a flip book sort of movie for you with a bunch of pictures, and basically you watch this movie.
Are we talking about those old little toys I had as a kid?
I mean, kind of. I mean, that's I forgot what those are called, the Viewmaster things. Except for this is basically you ever seen a flip book of art where they basically fan the pages and the pictures move? Well, this is the same kind of idea, except for it's an actual silent movie. Single frames, and they spin it on this Nickelodeon. It goes through like a 10 to 15 second movie for 5 cents.
I'm about to say, let's not forget, I think the original Mickey Mouse or Steamboat Willie was a Nickelodeon then, or a flip book thing.
Okay, we're not exactly walking through this movie at this point. So, seeing as we have some fun and games set up for the second half of this, let's actually start talking about some of the elements of this film that we hated. What did you not like about this movie?
It wasn't rated R.
I don't think they could have rated it R because of the fact that they were trying to gear this towards a wider audience. They wanted kids that have played the game to come in and watch the film. So if they had rated it R, an entire portion of their audience would have been gone.
I don't know. It's like that game is actually garnered towards adults anyway. Or it's rated M.
Rated M for not so mature, kind of childish.
Rated M for not so mature, but scary.
Right. So I think, I don't mind it not being rated R. I think they did well with the PG-13 range that they kept it in. They could have gone so much more cleansed. They had some mildly graphically violent moments, which I liked.
Yeah. I could talk about my favorite thing of this movie.
Okay, what was your favorite thing of the movie?
My favorite thing of this movie was when that big biker guy is just running and screaming. I was dying over here.
You're just running through the place. Okay.
Then he locked himself in the room, and then he starts screaming again because he didn't realize he locked himself in with something else.
My favorite thing of the movie was when the dumbass babysitter comes in after them and then gets herself fucking bitten in half. Bitch sold him the fuck down the river for $2,000. Sold this guy and his kid down the river to his aunt. You know what? Bitch deserved to be bitten in half.
That was poetic justice.
Poetic justice.
Pretty much off with her head.
Off with her head, and most of the rest of her upper half.
Goodbye, bitchy babysitter.
That is the quickest weight loss plan ever. The Chuck E. Cheese weight loss plan. Stick your head in the animatronic.
Ooh. Let's also not forget how Aunt Karen met her end.
Oh, Aunt Karen met
her.
So
we don't see it, but we don't see the actual event, but we know she met her end, and it was another poetic justice.
Your aunt has fallen asleep. And the fact that the little kid didn't even think, that woman fell asleep on the floor?
On the floor?
Yeah, how do we get there?
Legs all turned out.
She didn't like that aunt anyway. She's not going to ask questions. Yeah, she fell asleep like I fell. No. My mom and dad fell asleep like that too once. Yeah, I know she's not asleep, but, auntie's kind of a bitch too, so
I'm going to... eternal sleep?
Huh?
She's in her eternal rest.
Eternal, forever sleep. Yeah. No, I just...
half the deaths were warranted and not like, oh my god, I wish that person didn't die. The only person you might feel bad for is the security guard at the very beginning of the movie.
The security guard who should have been played by Markiplier.
Should have been. Definitely should have been. Ooh. Definitely would have been.
Markiplier was originally scheduled to be in that role, but he had another video game movie shooting that he was doing for his own personal gratification. What? I'll get the information for it. I'll have Spencer send me the link to it. But he was doing something
that would have been amazing.
He was doing something that he was the starring role in. So that kind of took precedence over doing a bit cameo role in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
But I mean, when I look at that security guard in the chair, and then I look at Josh Hutcherson's version in the chair, and then I'm like, okay, they did the same thing, but it seemed like the mask came faster at the no-name security guard than it did at Josh Hutcherson.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ask a fun little question. Forget the main characters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Best supporting role or bit role character in the movie.
Well, who are the main characters?
Well,
because they all pretty much have the same kind of screen time, except for the aunt and the people who all died.
Right, but I mean, I would say that Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard would be the main characters in the film, along with the
little
daughter.
Girl got him on nerves a little bit. Like, she, great actress, great young actress. Like, her character, I won't say the girl got him on nerves. Her character got him on nerves a little bit.
Right.
But hell, I would probably say Mary Stuart Masterson, because she actually made me hate her.
Okay, I'm going to go a different route. Just because, I mean, I may have hated Mary Stuart Masterson in this film, but I personally believe that even with how well she did her bitchy fucking role, the best bit role in this film was the guy that played her fucking weaselly lawyer, who just looked terrified to be in this movie, and he had nothing to do with the Five Nights at Freddy. He was just terrified of her. Michael P. Sullivan, who played Doug the lawyer.
It's like, he was good. Especially playing terrified. I just think they put him in the wrong type of outfit.
No, he was in the right outfit for it.
All you saw was neck and chin.
Exactly, but he looked like this terrified, weaselly little lump just the entire time. Like a deer in headlights, like, why the fuck am I even here?
I can't be listening to this. Sit down.
No, I can't even be here. Sit down, Doug. I thought he was probably one of the best roles in the entire film, personally.
Like, I can give him good credit for that. Like, every actor in here was great.
Tell me you recognize Vanessa.
Which one was Vanessa?
The cop.
I don't remember their names. Like,
okay, well, her name is Vanessa.
I couldn't watch it the second time.
Elizabeth Lale.
She looked familiar.
Okay. Have you seen the TV show You?
No.
You haven't seen You. Okay. See, that would be the big thing that you would remember her from. She was like the girlfriend in the first season of You. She was in Once Upon a Time.
Who's she playing Once Upon a Time?
Oh, good lord. I'm trying to find out what she played in Once Upon a Time.
Because then I would actually remember her, and I would actually be like, okay, I loved her in that or not.
She's not a main character. Well, she is a main character. She's a princess of some sort, but I'm trying to figure out who the fuck. It's entirely possible. I'm looking. It's taking a little bit to find it because she's. I love this. I'm trying to figure out who the fuck she played, and it's all it says is princess, and then it cuts off the rest of the fucking name. Like, princess what? For fuck's sake! Find it. If you can find it for me before I do, that would be fantastic, because I'm sitting here trying to scan IMDb, and it cuts it off at princess. Princess something. I have no idea. Elizabeth Lale. While we're doing that, that's why, because I brought her up because of You, because I've seen her in that TV show or Netflix show or whatever. She's not bad.
She played Anna. She played Princess Anna, which.
You didn't like that?
She did a good job of Anna, but I hated Anna.
Well, then she did a good job because you hated Anna. You
weren't supposed to hate Anna, though. You were supposed to be rooting for her. It's like she did a good job playing her. She was just annoying if she wasn't frozen.
Well, be entirely honest, though. Several characters in that TV show were flipped on their heads. So some characters that you were supposed to hate, you liked, and some characters that you were supposed to like, you fucking hated.
Yeah, I mean, look at the evil queen. You weren't supposed to love her, but you fell in love with her.
You did, eventually.
Because she was just misunderstood.
I mean, I can't lie. Lana Parrilla was amazing. Like, there's nothing that Lana Parrilla has been in that I've not liked her.
Oh my god, she's amazing. Anyway.
All right.
So, wrapping up our impressions of Five Nights at Freddy's, on a scale of 1 to 11, how would you rate this?
I give it a 7.5.
Giving it the Spinal Tap treatment. What do you give it?
I'll give it a 7.5.
7.5. I can't see. Yeah, I mean, they could have done a lot.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't absolutely love it. But it wasn't enough for me to push it down to like a 6 or a 5. It's like the acting was amazing. The story was there. I mean, maybe not all the lore, but I mean, the story was there. It was cohesive. And I mean, Matthew Lillard.
I'm going to say 6.5 because I can't rate it near what I rated Willy's Wonderland. I can't. Because
Willy's Wonderland was so much better to me.
Willy's Wonderland was so much more epic than this film was. And they went gruesome. Even though the blood was basically just fucking oil and hydraulic fuel from the animatronics, it was so much better. So much better.
You only see blood in that movie, like, in 2 scenes.
Yeah, I mean, there was plenty. This movie, you only saw weird kind of flashbacks of blood.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I see the blood, but it's because you're standing outside and it's that obligatory hand on the window blood just smearing down.
You saw that blood, and then, like, when the woman got decapitated, the bad babysitter, it's like, you saw, like, the blood in the shadow of the wall. Like, you just saw, like, a shadow splatter of blood.
You keep saying decapitated, but this was like a pit in the pendulum kind of decapitation where it's mid... She didn't just get her head.
Just her head.
No.
I could have sworn it was just her head.
It was mid-body, and then the bottom half of her torso just hit the floor. The ass hit the floor. That's what that part of her hit the floor. Everything else is in Freddy's fucking stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Just...
Don't tell the mom the babysitter's dead.
I mean, it's entirely obvious that the inside of fucking Freddy's stomach is the TARDIS from fucking Doctor Who. It's so much bigger in here than it is on the outside.
I'm pretty sure that could be said about some things.
I can fit the entire thing right here as he rubs his stomach, you know? Okay, we're going to take a few moments to let our fantastic friends at other podcasts speak for themselves, and when we come back, we're going to have a little discussion. Five Nights at Freddy's, Willy's Wonderland, who survives?
This is Two Chicks Talking Flicks, where we review movies. We try to dig deeper and go more in depth.
And profound for me.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like, what? We even bring up relevant topics.
I remember from Punky Brewster that you don't go inside the fridge.
And we're here to have those tough conversations. Mm-hmm.
And she was wearing a white dress, which
was yellow. Huh? It was yellow. So if this sounds like the podcast for you, please enjoy. New episodes every Tuesday.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
We are the hosts of the Strange and Beautiful Book Club. On the Strange and Beautiful Book Club, Matt and I share our adventures discovering forgotten movies, television shows, and books in the science fiction, horror, and fantasy genre.
Not necessarily good movies, though.
Oh, certainly not. We love a good, bad movie. The quirkier, the funnier, the more campy, the better.
But we talk about some classics, too.
Of course, we can't ignore our favorites like Highlander or the 1990s vampire cop television show, Forever Night, which we are currently covering one episode at a time.
As if I could forget.
Oh, hush. You love every minute of it.
Come join us every week as we discover, discuss, and dissect fantasy, horror, and sci-fi genre classics. New episodes release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So remember, sometimes the strangest things are the most beautiful, too.
So be who you are and love what you love. Until next time, friends.
Bye!
Hey, we know that you don't like commercials, but I really do thank you for listening to our friends. Maybe it inspired you to go listen to their podcast. Hopefully it didn't inspire you to stop listening to this one and you're still here. So, if you're still here and listening to us, we're going to go ahead and do a little thing that we used to call the pitch storm, because we haven't really done a lot of those fucking lately. Because usually it's like you want 4 or 5 people just kind of throwing in their fucking ideas, bouncing shit off each other. And I've listened to a few of our podcasts and I realize that I'm very strong-handed with the fucking pitch storm. I'll be like, that's a great idea, but no, why don't you listen to me? How about this instead?
I like that idea, but I like this one better.
Right? I'm a strong hand, man. I just I don't know why I do that. Hey, you know, I know you meant well. It was a great idea. But how about instead of your great idea, you listen to everything I have to say? And then, you know...
Oh, my damn.
No? What?
I said, oh, my damn.
Oh, my damn. Okay. So, what we're doing here... Oh, my damn. Where does that come from? Oh, my damn.
It came from a TV show I watched called Young and Hungry.
No, there's something else. Oh, my damn. Oh, my damn. It's not Oh, my Lanta. We're not doing the Full House thing. Oh, my damn. I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta. I I need my Lanta every time I hear her rattle off that fucking line. Oh, God, you made me sick, hun. Stop, please. That's horrible. This is too much saccharin for one show. Too much.
Saccharin?
Saccharin. Overly sweet shit that doesn't mean anything. Saccharin.
That's an SAT word if I ever heard one.
Saccharine. Saccharine.
Saccharin.
Okay, so what we're
That's
doing
like
here
the word sacrosanct.
is we are pitching a tandem sequel to both Five Nights at Freddy's and Willy's Wonderland. Five Nights at Willy's. Something to that nature. Who knows? We're not doing the porn spoof. We'll let Blumhouse... But what I want is this. This is what I want. You can tell me what you want. I'm thinking we take both films. Both places have been shut down as of the time this film has taken place, okay? So I'm thinking animatronics from both places have been salvaged and brought together for one kind of Chuck E. Cheese kind of place. Just like a nostalgic... This person was buying animatronics, not just from Willy's Wonderland, not just from Five Nights at Freddy's, but they were bringing animatronics from all sorts of other defunct places. You know, you could go to a Bugaboo Creek or some kind of closed down Chuck E. Cheese, and you're bringing in all... the Rainforest Cafe, which pretty much no longer exists around here, and you bring them all in.
There's plenty of amusement parks that had animatronics, and they've all shut down.
Right. But I'm thinking like a museum of old animatronics. Not a new restaurant. But I'm thinking a place that is commemorating these old animatronics from different places, whether it's decommissioned Disney animatronics or stuff from these weird fucking places that used to creep kids out thoroughly. Go ahead.
Even better. One of those, because they have museums of like haunted items. Another museum of that's just haunted animatronics.
Right? But this is what I'm thinking. This is maybe not just haunted animatronics. I'm thinking they meant well. This was supposed to be a place to commemorate places that kids had fun. So this is sort of a, I meant well, but I definitely fucked up kind of thing. And I'm thinking that you end up with the guy that opened the place, right? And the guy that basically purchased the property. You have two different people, right? You have the person running the place, the guy that purchased the property and set all this up, had alternative reasons for opening this place up. Okay?
They had ulterior motives?
Ulterior motives. You got the psychotic children along with the fucking psychotic adults, the cannibals from the Willy's Wonderland movie, right?
Oh, fuck.
And they're all under the same fucking roof. So you've got different psychos for different reasons here.
Yeah.
This becomes like
like the ones from Willy's were like they were satanically sadistic and cannibalistic. The ones from Freddy's were murdered children.
Right. So I'm thinking Liv and our favorite Nick Cage. What was his name in that fucking movie? Did they give a name for him?
Nope.
Not that I saw. I didn't see a name.
I think if you look at Wikipedia, he has a name. But
I'm sure he does.
It's like Alice in the Resident Evil movie, like the first one. Her name was never given.
I really feel like they should have given him a name, like offhand. I'm a little annoyed. They just named him the Janitor. If you look it up, it's just the Janitor. That's what they named him. But I feel like they should have given him a name. I don't think he's going to have a name in this either. I think he goes nameless. I think he stays silent the entire film. Okay? And I think he continues to play like he's in some next-level video game, while Josh Hutcherson has somehow managed to get a job at this new museum. All right? The guy that gave him the job at the new museum did not explain what the security position entailed. Basically just said the same thing that you deal with Matthew Lillard. All you need to do is make sure you keep the place tidy and that nobody breaks in. You're dealing with the same Five Nights at Freddy's scenario.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard somehow survived, and he's the owner of this museum.
Well, you heard what he said. I always come back, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on with the kids? The kids are all haunting. Basically, they're stuck inside these fucking animatronics, and they are haunting the animatronics. Who's to say the yellow bunny can't go the same way?
That is true.
Who's to say?
That is true.
So now his creepy fucking ass is now haunting the inside of the spring trap that is the yellow bunny. The yellow rabbit. I like that idea. All right, and he's now...
I think in the game that bunny's name is Springtrap.
Springtrap. Is that right?
Yes. I believe that's actually the name of the bunny.
The name of the...
Because you had Bonnie, Foxy, and Freddy, and then you had a Golden Freddy. And then you had, I think, Springtrap. Because you also had Balloon Boy in the first film, in the film, and he wasn't even brought into, like, the second game, but in the film, he was actually some, like, little bubble.
Right. I think that this is basically them pulling together animatronics from different places. So I don't think you're just going to deal with Five Nights at Freddy's here. I think, and Willy's Wonderland, I think you're going to have, I think it would be fun to have other pop culture references from different places that had animatronics.
Chuck E. Cheese.
That
Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe. You've got all sorts of things from the Pirates of the Caribbean and A Small World After All. You've got.
Oh, fuck.
You have the. If you go to Disney, you also have the Hall of Presidents. So you have all sorts of animatronic presidents as well.
If you go to Six Flags here, you have the Monster Plantation.
Right. See, there you go. So you can do all sorts of things with this. You can. I believe there's even some animatronics over in Dollywood, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, fuck.
But you can.
I want Dolly to voice one of those animatronics.
You can find all sorts of animatronics pretty much everywhere, especially theme parks. So you pull them all together for like a night at the museum kind of thing, where all these creatures come alive at night, and you're basically seeing like fucking George Washington and Abe Lincoln fending off Freddy and Willy. Just, I cannot tell a lie. This is really fucked up.
Siren Sarah comes flipping around somewhere.
Right. But they've refurbished
with her damn strong ass tongue.
And I feel like I don't know who we should have the leader. Oh, you know what the leader is? You know who the leader of this whole thing is? The guy that bought the place, has set everything up. We're gonna go and take it Futurama here. Walt Disney's head in a jar, on top of an animatronic suit of Mickey Mouse.
God.
Animatronic Mickey Mouse suit. But seeing as the only Mickey Mouse that you can technically use for this is Steamboat Willie. One Night at Willie's. It works that way.
Oh my God.
5 Nights at Willie's. Yeah, well, Steamboat Willie's. So basically a psychotic Disney's head on top of Steamboat Willie's body.
Well, hell, if we got Josh Hutcherson as the security guard here,
right,
we know he's going to be fighting alone whenever the janitor has to take his punch break with a pinball machine.
How does the janitor get roped into this? Because I feel like the janitor, even in the original Willy's Wonderland movie, he was sort of oblivious to anything other than getting through what he needed to. So does he maybe get hired on as a janitor in this place too? Like
maybe
Josh
he's on his way
Hutcherson's...
to a car. Maybe he's on his way to a car show and something happens with his car again.
Right. Well, he's got Liv with him now, so it's not just him; it's him and Liv.
Well, does it mean they can't both do a job at the museum to try to fix the car?
What if he accidentally gets into a wreck with one of the trucks delivering animatronics to the building? And truck driver negotiates something with the owner, who is, Walt Disney behind the scenes over here. He negotiates a deal with the owner to fix his car. He goes, it's going to take a little bit to get your car back up and running, maybe a week or so. So if you can do me a favor in exchange, if you just do a little janitorial work, help us put these animatronics in place and everything and keep the place nice and tidy while we're doing that, and we'll hire you and Liv to do that, and we'll fix your car for free rather than going through the insurance. It's just insurance panic because Walt doesn't want to be found out because he's been dead for how long?
Well, there's another scenario you could go that's like true horror movie trope. It's like has a wreck with an animatronic delivery truck.
Right.
The animatronics are out. His car's not usable. Him and Liv are chased into the museum by the animatronics being delivered.
Oh, like a Return of the Living Dead animatronics.
Yes.
So to speak.
Like, normally he would just fight them off to get wherever he's got to go, but there's so many at once. Him and Liv take refuge in the thing, and they got to go in a back way because Josh Hutcherson is there being a security guard. The front's gonna be locked. Right.
I feel like I like that. I feel like the Willy's Wonderland creatures are being delivered to the place at this point, and they're the ones that get out and around. The Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics are already in there. Are already inside. So they kind of at some point end up a force for good once they realize that fucking the janitor isn't a bad guy.
Right.
This time Liv doesn't live. Liv dies. So we get Liv's last name. We get Liv's last name. Liv's last name is Dyer.
Wait, what if her last name is Muerto?
Liv Muertos. We could do that too.
I mean, Muertos is death, or Dia de Muertos is Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. Do you know anybody with a last name Muertos?
No, but it's a movie. You can make any last name you want.
Well, Dyer is an actual last name, though. That's what I'm saying.
I
don't know. I was going the easy way. I'm taking the easy way out. But, I mean, these movies tend to be a little cheesy anyway, so you could go easy instead of cheesy. Chuck E. Cheesy.
It ain't going down easy if it ain't cheesy.
Say that just before Freddy bites somebody else in half.
Well, that's one thing. This sequel would definitely have to be rated R.
Right. I think we could still go... Okay, so I would go, if we're going to go rated R, if we are going to go rated R, go fucking hard R.
Well, you'd have to go hard R with Willy's animatronics in there.
Well, even Willy's Wonderland wasn't that hard an R. The kills were still fairly...
But when things happen in Five Nights at Freddy's, we didn't even see gore from the machines.
A little bit. We did with that one scene with Freddy where he bit the girl in half.
When I say gore with machines, almost all the gore in Willy's Wonderland was death to the machines.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Well, you did get to see some... But that's because there was only a 10-minute span where most of the kids got killed.
Yeah.
If you think about it. It went by very, very quick. They all died very quickly. Okay.
And most of the deaths were they were supposed to be gruesome, but they weren't shown as gruesome.
Right. So, I think...
But they can still go with that. They don't have to be, over-the-top Saw or Hostel gruesome.
Bear with me for a minute. I think we do this. We bank on the money, all right? We filmed 2 versions of this film, all right? The first version is the version that's going to come in just a little bit over PG and be PG-13. And then, those are the showings that you get up until 7 p.m. If you come in to watch the same movie after 7 p.m., so anything from 8 o'clock on is a hard R film. So hard R that it just butts up against having to be NC-17.
Is it NC-17 or is it X?
NC-17. I think it goes NC-17 and then it goes X.
Rated R still allows children with a parent. NC-17 does not.
Is no one under 17 is admitted, period. All right. There's very few films that got that NC-17 rating, and I don't want to go there. I want to go hard R.
I can agree.
See, that also works in regards to DVD sales, because now you have 2 specific movies that you put out. The regular version and the hard R version. And then you also have the director's cut. So now you've got a third version of the movie. See, we're going money here. You want to make a little extra money. 3 different versions of the film.
It's funny that you said that because I haven't thought about movies being done that way in a while. But the very first film I did that never got released, we filmed a PG-13 and then a rated R. It's and all that changes is my language, is what I do and what I don't say.
The director... Okay, here's fun. Ready? The director's cut of the film is not just one movie. The director's cut of the film... We filmed this movie in such a way that the director's cut of the film intersplices Five Nights at Freddy's, Willy's Wonderland, and this film together. So it shows a progression from one film to the next, and things that happen in between certain scenes that show that Walt Disney is the one who has been manipulating everything.
That would be very interesting. It's in the way they show it, it's you see some parts with the janitor, you see some parts with Josh, they're supposed to be happening about the same time.
Right. So these movies are both kind of happening at the same time, and there's a same basic premise where you have animatronics from a children's venue which have been haunted by the deaths of particular people that went to that. Yeah, people. You have the psychos from Willy's Wonderland and the children that get trapped in the bodies of the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have this museum, and you're realizing that Walt Disney, all of these animatronics are inhabited by some trapped soul who was there, who got trapped in this body for murderous reasons, one way or the other, whether it's the victims or the actual murderers themselves.
What if Walt Disney was pulling all the strings? He's the reason that the satanic people committed their ritual suicide, And then
The entire reason he had his head cryogenically frozen is so that he could come back and wreak havoc on the world with his animatronics.
yes,
I like that.
yes. So do I.
Okay, who do we cast as Walt Disney? Who do you want as Walt Disney's head? Because all you have to have is the head. The head gets CGI'd in to the animatronic, Steamboat Willie suit.
So basically, it could be anybody because the head, the face, and everything's going to be CGI'd either way.
Well, I'm just saying that the CGI is how you're attaching the... I would... You know who... Ooh, oh God, what is the guy's name? I was just thinking of a guy because I watched a movie recently. Have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
No.
Oh, good Lord. Tika Waititi. If you look up that name, he actually played Adolf Hitler in that film.
Wait, what was the movie called again?
Jojo Rabbit.
I have not seen it. It was a movie I wanted to see, but I know who you're talking about because I remember the previews.
If you look up the name, Taika Waititi, you'll see the guy. I'm
I can agree.
I'm either thinking him or Will Forte.
I would go Tico.
You know why Will Forte would be a fun addition to this film?
Why?
Because if we're bringing back the Yellow Rabbit, who's played by Matthew Lillard, it gives Matthew Lillard a chance to kick Will Forte's fucking ass. Because Will Forte is the one who ended up fucking voicing Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movie. Scoob.
You know what? Let's do it.
Scoob. Right? How pissed must Matthew Lillard be at that guy right now?
Like, you would have that because, he was pulling the strings, and then Matthew Lillard's like, he wants to be the boss.
Let's have them both just have this weird moment where it's like otherworldly and they're just having a Shaggy off. He's doing his Shaggy impression. Because have you ever seen the Scoob animated movie? Okay.
No.
Will Forte, as far as I'm concerned, Will Forte has never done voices well. Okay? Will Forte is funny, but he has never done voices well. And with Matthew Lillard's version of Shaggy was Shaggy. Like,
it was voice and embodiment.
Will Forte's version of Shaggy is Will Forte trying to do Shaggy. Like, you can hear Will Forte with no problem there.
Like, and he did him hard with no condom.
Yeah.
No lube.
Yeah, it was he definitely fucking bent him over and right to the ass. Anyway, they fucked Matthew Lillard. Like, Matthew should have been Shaggy for that. If anybody voices Shaggy from here on out, it should be Matthew Lillard.
Well, he should, because in the animated series, after the two Scooby movies came out, he has been voicing Shaggy up until that movie.
It's like for animated series, for animated anything, Mark Hamill is the Joker now, as far as I'm concerned.
I thought he was going to quit after some point because it was rupturing his voice cords or something like that.
I have no idea. But I'm just saying, he is outside of Luke Skywalker, and he does the Joker really well. And yeah. I'll give you that technically his version of the Joker also sounds like what he did for the Trickster in The Flash. But it sounds about the same. It's like, okay, I'm in the DC universe, I'm the Trickster, I am the Joker. What if the Trickster and the Joker are the same fucking person, just putting on different costumes? Who knows? Oh.
Are they not the same person?
No, they're not the same person. But, he played them voice-wise the same. But then again, he also played Cockknocker. You don't know... Oh, God. Have you ever seen Jay and Silent Bob? The Jay and Silent Bob movie?
No.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Basically, they're going to stop a Hollywood movie about them. The Blunt Man and Chronic movie or whatever. And what happened in there is that Mark Hamill plays the lead villain in the Blunt Man and Chronic movie. Cockknocker, which is basically this villain with this massive fist. Which I'm guessing his entire move is just punching somebody in the dick. I'm guessing that's why they call him the Cockknocker, because otherwise, why would you call this a Cockknocker? Why would you call a massive fist a Cockknocker unless he's just spanking himself? You interrupted me again, guys. No?
That's how he got the massive hand.
Blunt Man and Chronic has once again disturbed my masturbation. I must kick their asses. I am the Cockknocker! Okay. I have no idea. How does that work? Okay, so
where were we?
We've just discussed that Will Forte is now Walt Disney, the animatronic head or reanimated, cryogenically frozen head of Walt Disney on Steamboat Willie's body.
And we already know Josh Hutcherson is
Mike again, and his sister comes along.
I was going to say maybe a little older, but she wouldn't be any older.
Not too much older. I mean, she still... We got a sequel. We don't know how many years have passed.
So.
You could technically either recast her with a slightly older actress.
Well, by the time the movie is made, it's like she might be slightly older anyway.
That's very true. I mean, I'm guaranteeing you this was probably filmed a year or so back, and then finally came out this year, so you probably got at least a 2-3 year difference between point A and point B anyway.
Yeah.
So, and by the time the movie gets up off the ground, it could be even longer than that. Who knows?
That is another fair point. Let's see.
So,
It's like there's nobody else to cast because Liv and the janitor would come back as Nick Cage and what's her face?
Right. Liv and Nick Cage.
Liv Dyer.
Liv Dyer. Well, I just said Dyer because she's gonna die in the end. Liv dies in the end.
I agree she should.
I say that Liv...
What if she's taken out in the car crash?
I think that Liv should stick around to the end. I think that they won. And the last act that happens in the movie, like post-credit scene, you know, they're riding off into the sunset, and just like in the the Willy's Wonderland film where they had Siren Sarah in the back seat and she killed and blew up not the back seat but behind the car and blew up their car on them. I think Willy is somehow hiding in the trunk of the car, and he just pops through the back seat and snaps her neck in the post-credit scene. And that causes the car to spin around as Nick Cage dives out and rolls, and it blows up.
Maybe it should be Campy with her tongue.
Cammy? Could be. I mean, it depends on who you want to have technically survive the end of the movie.
Well, I mean, if we're going by technicality, Willie shouldn't even be around. Siren Sarah should.
But we're just assuming that Willy wasn't a franchise because Freddy Fazbear's was technically supposed to be a franchise too, if you think about it.
It was.
Right. So Willy's could be a franchise, and these animatronic souls could have inhabited another set, because they have a sequel trying to come out where they have the whole Willy's Wonderland thing, but it's a theme park instead?
Yeah.
So we're going a different route, and instead of a theme park, we're making a fucking museum out of it. Who's to say they don't have backup suits to go into?
True.
So we have to sew up that little plot hole. Like, how did we get from point A to point B? I'm thinking, cryogenically. Who brought the cryogenically frozen head of Walt Disney back to life to begin with? Did he have like a team of people? And it's like, at this point, once you get the animatronics right, I want you to unfreeze my head and he's got something that stimulates the neurological centers of the brain that's attached to the suit. It's some highly technical BS,
which isn't a lot of movies anyway.
Right. I mean, you have to suspend your belief in reality to watch some of these films to begin with.
It's like, you have to suspend your belief in reality to watch almost any horror movie.
But that's just a theory. A movie theory. Sorry, that guy was in... I have the movie playing in the background. The guy from that Game Theory YouTube. He does that whole... I keep forgetting his fucking name. Hey, Spencer, you're sitting right over there. What's his name? The guy from Game Theory. Matt Pat. There we go. Matt Pat. My brain's... Spencer was supposed to join us on the podcast here, but he kind of slept a little bit, and now he's getting himself ready for the day. So I'm just using him. I'm yelling across the way to a person in another room to just get a little extra information, because my brain is not all here.
He's in another reality.
Matt Pat. Game Theory.
Your princess is not in this castle.
I think that's most of the videos that we watched. I think that most of the videos that we watched on Five Nights at Freddy's together were from Matt Pat, like the Game Theory guy. And then we did watch a few like Markiplier videos and some other videos of people actually playing it. So
I've watched a lot of Markiplier playing that.
We've watched a lot of Markiplier playing with himself for the pleasure of many.
You know what? Markiplier should be in this movie we're making.
We should. Markiplier... Oh no, I've just decided that Will Forte doesn't need to be Walt Disney. I think that Markiplier should be Walt Disney. The main villain. Will Forte should be his bumbling sidekick that brought the fucking cryogenic head back to life. He is the Igor here. So if we're imagining putting Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen head on top of the Steamboat Willie animatronic body and attaching everything, basically Igor is Dr. Frankenstein, Will Forte as Igor and Dr. Frankenstein all in one, pulling the lever, adding the electricity, and bringing Walt Disney back to life. And Walt Disney is technically Frankenstein's monster who is out of control and reanimating all of these fucking animatronics. Oh my god, I was going on a rant.
Bites off the head of Will Forte.
Matthew Lillard bites off the... I don't think that Matthew Lillard bites off the head of Will Forte. I think Matthew Lillard does to Will Forte what they were trying to do to the little girl in the movie, where Bonnie was trying to put the little girl into the Springtrap suit of the doll.
Yeah.
I think that's where Will Forte ends up, in the Springtrap suit of the doll.
Oh god, he's going to become the ballerina.
Or, as to pay homage to the fact that he fucked the Scoob movie, if you paid attention to Five Nights at Freddy's, there's an initial scene where they kind of pan around the room where Freddy is initially standing. I think it's with the girl, when the girl first walks in to go look after Freddy. And on the floor is this disassembled, defunct suit of a dog animatronic character that is never discussed and is not in the actual films. I think Walt Disney puts this suit back together, meaning it to be, he's going to be a dog, Scooby-Doo, woohoo! Meaning it to be the suit for Will Forte's little Igor character. We're going to put you in there and your soul's going to inhabit this little fucking suit, you fuck who ruined this fucking movie. And we're going to put Will Forte in that suit. And somehow Matthew Lillard screws up whatever ritual Walt Disney is using to make the souls inhabit the bodies of this suit. He's like, no, this fucker does not get to be your next in line. I have done your bidding for how long? I am your next in line.
Yes.
Right. So that,
I like it.
He basically fucks up the incantation or whatever to make that soul attached to the animatronic suit. So that's what I'm feeling.
So
am I just ranting now?
We know Liv dies.
Liv dies.
We should also put the police officer, who is Matthew Lillard's daughter, from Five Nights at Freddy in this.
Right. She wakes up because she's in a coma at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right. Josh Hutcherson's character Mike probably didn't leave or went back for her after finding out she woke up, and then they went towards his new job.
Okay. So she's still I think she's still in a coma by the time.
Yeah, she wakes up.
And something like there's a disturbance in the force. Something happens where she is woken up by some BS regarding like the incantation and everything. It has to do with her father. Something.
You know what? That could be a thing. It's like some psychic connection to that because of her dad. It's one of those things like she can hear things and see like glimpses of like small things happening with animatronics in her mind, like in a dream, that pushes her to wake up.
Her dreams put her in not the driver's seat, but put her in the back of his mind. Like she can see what the fuck he is doing through his eyes or through the eyes of the animatronic suit, which he's committing these atrocities in. So basically she's in the back seat every time she falls asleep. She's in this coma for a while. And when her father comes back to life, she sees the first kill he makes, and that's what snaps her out of the coma.
Yes.
So I think we're going to go gruesome because we're going hard R. I think Liv and the sister die in this movie, which forces Josh to action, right? It forces Josh to action, and it forces the janitor to play another video game, I guess. This is some like museum video game for him. I don't know. It's a nice open world video game, a la Resident Evil style. Like he's in a Resident Evil style video game right now.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool if some of the scenes are done from like the old school Resident Evil, where it's from different camera angles.
I feel what's happening like there's a lot of suits that already had their souls in the animatronic bodies, and those are full, complete, functional animatronics. But whatever happened where Matthew Lillard decided, no, I'm the fucking next in line, not this guy. He fucked up Walt Disney trying to fully attach new souls to all these other animatronics that he's gotten together in this massive museum building. And so they're only half attached. So they're able to kind of shamble like zombies like zombie animatronics, but they're not able to fully function like the other ones who can talk and do other things. Zombatronics. I mean, mind you, the animatronics can only talk in the form of what little voice box they were given in their animatronic bodies, you know. They talk in quipped sayings, you know.
It's your birthday.
It's kind of like Bumblebee from the Transformers, where he can only talk in radio commercials and shit.
Yeah.
I can talk, but it has to be something I played through the radio. Yeah?
Let's see.
How does this all tie up, though?
I don't know, because we've already put Liv dying at the end.
Liv dies in the end. We're assuming that Josh, Hutcherson, Mike and the Janitor make it out.
We're
alive.
assuming. How does the little sister die?
I think the little sister... I think the reason...
Maybe she's put into a suit, like she dies.
What if the reason Mike takes the job is because the little sister... They move to a town where this thing's being put up, unbeknownst to everybody. The school decides to take a preliminary trip to a museum that's about to open. They're given a chance to go see it. So the school basically sends her class there. This is how some of the animatronics get their souls. Because the class is attacked. And so after this massacre, which they blame on somebody else, like some disturbed security guard that was in the building at the time. They blame it on him. He ends up in jail. Somehow he gets blamed for all the murders.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have like a bumbling security guard like at the beginning of Five Nights at Freddy's, but in this particular case, he sees everything happen and he gets blamed for the murders somehow.
You know, I got another thought.
Go ahead.
If these kids got murdered and they're inhabiting some of these like half the Zombatronics soul things, what if his sister was actually one of these and she was the only good one? She died at the beginning of the film with some of her class, but with her soul in the animatronic,
what if
it was like one good one trying to do something?
What if somehow she was the one? You know how Cammy kind of played the good guy? Or did that whole thing where she pretended to be a good guy? What if that's how that happened? Like she ends up in Cammy's body. So now she is the good version of Cammy.
Oh my god.
With the extra strong tongue that we can snap spines with this tongue. Yeah. I feel like Mike is not a security guard anymore. I feel like he has taken a step up after Five Nights at Freddy's, the original thing. He's taken a step up. He's stepped up and he has become a police officer. So he is an officer of the law for this town.
Maybe he's there looking for his sister. Like at the museum itself because she didn't come home when she was supposed to.
He's investigating what happened.
That, you know what? He's a detective.
He's a detective and investigating the murders because he doesn't feel, after what he knows about Freddy Fazbear's, he doesn't feel like there's something wrong here. I mean, we have the animatronics from Freddy Fazbear's here, which I thought were, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because, but I also noticed it's also all sorts of animatronics, including the ones that are supposed to be coming in from a place where they said that, you know, they know the lore of the original Willy's Wonderland. You know, some of these places were closed under suspicious circumstances, and he wanted to investigate a little further.
Yes, I like it.
So he's a police officer in this one, not a security guard.
Yes.
I like... Ooh. Okay, so he's a police officer and not a security guard. We also have to have... I mean, we have maybe staff, employees, even a security guard that we can kind of fit in there for no fucking reason. To keep in the theme of having YouTubers as part of Five Nights at Freddy's... Why not have Jacksepticeye? We had the same fucking idea as the security guard who is currently in there having to deal with all the shit going on around him.
Oh God, when he greets the kids, I can just imagine him as a security guard greeting the kids when they're coming in. Top of the morning to you.
We have two guys. Yeah, like that. That's how he greets everybody whenever he meets them for the first time. Top of the morning to you. But we should have somebody else play the initial bumbling security guard that gets blamed for the murders of that entire class. We should have somebody else.
Are we still thinking a YouTuber?
Well, we should. I mean, I think we should fit a YouTuber in there. Obviously,
like, I can't think of someone else. Like I'm trying to think about somebody else I might have watched play Five Nights at Freddy's or any other horror game.
There's a lot of them out there. I'm trying to think of. You know who everybody would love.
I got one I hate.
Who do you hate?
Well, she's a Twitch streamer.
She's a Twitch streamer.
And it's not that I hate her. It's It's not that I hate her. She's a beautiful woman.
Right.
It's how she does things and gets away with things on Twitch.
Okay.
Emma.
Okay, I don't know this one.
She's a big-breasted Twitch streamer. She's done a lot of ASMR stuff and like gotten away with a lot of
I know
other Twitch streamers could get away with.
I know that
I was thinking like.
I know. Okay, I'm you finish what you were saying because I have a completely different route to go.
Well, you know how we had the blonde airhead in the Willy's Wonderland?
Mm-hmm.
She could be a security guard who was a redheaded airhead, a redheaded airhead.
What if we don't even go with a video game YouTuber, but somebody who is YouTube famous, or somebody's, a pair of security guards that worked together, a la Skeet and Matthew Lillard from the original Scream, but they are framed, not actually the people that did it. Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning.
Never seen them.
You've never seen them? Oh my god.
No.
Okay, you're honestly, you're gonna have to just watch. If you like weird guys, Rhett and Link, they've done a lot of stuff. They even did some stuff alongside of the guys that did the epic rap battles.
Yeah.
They played. I don't know if you've seen the Mario Brothers one, the epic rap battle of history, the one that was the Mario brothers versus the Wright brothers.
I've seen it.
They played the Wright brothers.
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
So Rhett and Link as the two security guards that get framed for the murders in the very beginning. So they basically say that they conspired together to commit an atrocity within this building, you know, setting the animatronics on them. Basically, they feel like they activated the animatronics and basically slaughtered all these children. So it's a really horrible thing to associate with them, but geez. I'm just saying.
I'm not mad at it. I like it.
We're trying to end this movie, though. How do we end this movie? We have there's just this epic battle. I feel like...
It's like you see some battles between the janitor and Mike and the animatronics, but I think the ending should be basically... Maybe they're going to blow the place up, like with a gas leak, and then throw a match, a lighter, or something. While in the middle of it, not Mickey Mouse, but Matthew Lillard and Walt Disney are going head to head.
Okay.
Like, they're so busy going head to head, they're not realizing what's going on around them, that the place is about to be destroyed, and everything that they wanted with it.
Okay. I like this idea. I'm going to go take a little step further. So you start talking about Matthew Lillard and Walt Disney going head to head. What if Mike thinks... we know that Matthew Lillard and Walt Disney are going head to head, which obviously is going to take Mike's attention a little bit. But what if he also thinks that the guy, the janitor, who stumbled across this whole situation is playing out his own thing? He doesn't talk, obviously. So Mike doesn't know how to deal with him as a law enforcement officer, so they are constantly clashing. All right?
Yeah.
So there's this one long, epic fight that's happening throughout the movie where they keep running across each other and fighting, but then animatronics get into the middle of it, so they get pulled apart, and they have to fend off the animatronics. They get separated into different areas, then slowly come back around, and then they're fighting again.
That would be funny.
So it's like...
You know what? Mike interrupts one of the janitor's breaks.
I think that's how it starts. Mike interrupts one of his little recharge
that's how they
sessions.
start having a conflict.
And so the entire rest of the film, it is just one long fight between the two of them, interrupted by other animatronics that they have to fend off or put down. And then somehow they find their way back to fighting against each other again until the end, where they see finally stumble across Matthew Lillard and Walt Disney going at each other, and they just both stop dead. Just watching this take place. And I feel like...
But how does it conclude?
How does it conclude? I feel like... You've seen Five Nights at Freddy's, where they say basically the cattle prod or the whatever takes them down. All right? Mm-hmm. Here's how I feel. Cattle prod, whatever, takes Walt Disney and Buddy Boy down. But they watch the fight. They're just watching the whole thing going on because these two are oblivious to the janitor and Mike just staring at them. I think that, the janitor just, pulls down his shades and does that stare that he gives everybody in that fucking movie. And Mike is just sitting here with his gun just kind of following them back and forth as the thing's going on. And finally, Mike just says, you know what, fuck this. Pulls his taser up, zaps them both, and then janitor comes in and just decimates both of them.
That works.
Because that's what janitor does in the original film. In Willy's Wonderland, where she just beats the living fucking shit out of everything until it's just toast.
You know
and then
what?
For good measure, Mike stands over the cryogenically frozen head of Walt Disney and just puts a couple bullets into the head.
You know what? And towards the end, Liv's already outside waiting for the janitor, and that's how she gets blown up.
Okay. I want to do like a couple of cut scenes like at the end, like in the credits though. And you know how Matthew Lillard starts to put on the yellow bunny head and says, "I always come back." I want to say he's getting ready to remove the head, like remove his head, like you'll see whatever the decrepit zombie corpse face of fucking Matthew Lillard. And as he's removing the head and he's saying, "I always come," right as he says "come," you see Janitor walk into the scene and curb stomp him like the gorilla from the original movie, and the head just explodes. That's the first thing after the initial, like the first little cut for the end credit scene, and then you have the end credit scene where you have, Walt Disney somehow. Oh my God! You said Cammy. If Cammy,
No, I said Liv.
No, because Liv's supposed to die in the last scene, but you said Liv gets killed by Cammy.
Yes.
Right. So if Cammy is inhabited by the good soul of his sister, and Cammy, what if Cammy comes out because she hid in the trunk, and they think that she's trying to kill Liv, and so
she's trying to pull her away from the car. Before it explodes.
Yeah. Janitor turns around to shoot at Cammy in the trunk, and Cammy shoots her tongue out to take the gun away from him, but instead misses and gets Liv and snaps her neck.
Yes.
And that's when so now you have his sister who is in the Cammy suit, and this thing he jumps out of the car, it rolls over and explodes, and he's basically killed the good soul of of Mike's sister. I'm tripping over my tongue. I'm excited and just tripping. The car rolls, taking out the good soul of Mike's sister, and Liv and Liv, who's already dead, is burning up in the car, and he survives.
This gives them both a reason to have beef with each other.
And so you set yourself up for the third movie.
Yes.
So
Mike versus the janitor.
Because Mike realizes that he realized at some point during the movie that Cammy is in the suit or his sister's in the suit of Cammy, and so he sends Cammy out of the building to go hide while everything's going on. She hides in his trunk.
And then it's like, because she snapped the neck of Liv, and then the janitor puts whatever through Cammy.
Right.
Because maybe it's not even one of those things where it's like the car has to blow up. Maybe it's like he sees Cammy trying to do something towards Liv. He basically puts something on the gas pedal to make it go and actually just run through Cammy. And then you can see an explosion because the car ran into something. And then it's like Mike is pissed off at the janitor for killing Cammy with the car, which is his sister. And then janitor's upset because...
What if Mike's chasing after them? Because he knows that Cammy's in the car, and he sees what happens. So Mike is chasing after them in his police car because the janitor pulls off with his sister still in the fucking trunk, and so he goes after them, and he sees what happens. He sees the janitor turn around, and he, like he said, he pulled the gun to go shoot at Cammy in the trunk because he was startled. She accidentally kills Liv. He puts several bullets in her head, but she, in turn, has taken control of the wheel of the car. So she grabbed her tongue, latches onto the wheel of the car, pulls it to the right to try to pull him off the road, and that's why he jumps out and the car spins over. And the last scene you see is the janitor, he's staring at his car going down the road, and boom. And Mike comes up behind him, the police car kind of spins to the right a little bit, and Mike gets out of his car with his gun, trained on the janitor, right? And the janitor turns around, takes off his glasses, puts them in his pocket, and starts walking directly towards Mike, and that's when the movie turns off.
Yes, I like that.
Because you know what? Ever seen Family Guy? Obviously. Have you seen Family Guy before? Okay, there's this whole routine where occasionally he'll run across his arch nemesis, which is basically a human-sized rooster. Basically, and this rooster and him will just beat the living shit out of each other throughout the entire thing. So you have an entire episode where it's just the rooster and him just going through the entire episode, beating the shit out of each other with a couple of points of, like, the actual episode going on in between. I feel like that's what this movie plays out to be, and then it leads into another movie, which is literally an 1.5 to 2 hour film of them fighting with things interrupting their fight.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
So it's just an epic battle that leads into another even more epic battle between two characters.
Epic animatronic battles of history.
I like it. Okay, so there we go. We have pitched an absolutely impossible to make fucking film, which I honestly, if you could write a script for this, I bet you that Nick Cage would be like, I am all for that. I will do that.
Oh, it'll be easy to write his parts.
Right.
No
Nick
script
Cage
needed for his
stares.
part.
Nick Cage stares. Nick Cage kicks ass. Nick Cage stares. Nick Cage takes a break. Nick Cage stares.
Nick Cage downs his can of punch.
Nick Cage opens his mouth to say something, and then casually strokes pinball machine. You know, this.
Opens his mouth to say something, drinks out of can of punch.
Right. That's his entire voice. It's just the sound that he makes, the satisfaction of downing yet another drink. Ah, you heard me. I said, ah. It's just pure satisfaction. All right. So, that being said, thank you for listening to yet another episode of Cinematic Anarchy. You can find us pretty much fucking everywhere. Instagram, Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X, right? It's X. It's X. Thank you for that, Elon Musk. We've been Twittering forever, and now we're Xing. XO.
Yes, we're no longer tweeting.
Not tweeting. We're what is it? What is it now? What is the version of what are we doing now? It's just Xing. You don't tweet.
Is there a word for it?
I have no idea. You're not tweeting
we're no
anymore.
longer chirping with Twitter.
We're no longer chirping with Twitter. What do you do with X? There you go. That's something we need to think about for the next podcast. What exactly is it called when you put a post on X? It's not tweeting anymore. It's something else.
Are you YZing?
I'm XYZing. Yes. We're also on Facebook and pretty much anywhere where your podcasts are found. Plus, if you have the time, tumble on over to YouTube and find the nice little short film that our friend Piper here has done, The Proposal. We still need to take time. We still need to take time to talk about that film. But
we do.
Yes. But that is for another episode. That being said, thank you again for listening to Cinematic Anarchy. And as Miss B is always so fond of saying,
drink some water, you thirsty bitches.
And with that, I'm going to go drink some fucking water because I am one thirsty bitch.
Me too.
Yeah.